Hey Zach, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing
Good. Are you
good.
having hot weather down there?
Yeah, I'm glad my apartment has a pool. I've probably used it more this summer than I've used it like any summer, but
And you
I'm
didn't
glad I
get
have
flooded
it.
out from the remnants of that hurricane?
No, I didn't get anything. It's been raining a decent amount, like more than usual, definitely more than last summer, but no flooding, thankfully.
All right. Well, I have a question for you. How can brands effectively use LinkedIn ads to avoid wasting budget and get meaningful results? So just go ahead, answer that question right now. That's great.
I think Riley's gonna be the one that answers that question in the main part.
All right. Yeah, you don't really do ads. You can recommend ads or talk about content for ads, but you don't really do the ad strategy. But Riley does. And we've got several clients who do LinkedIn ads. So we're going to explore what sets those apart, like how they're different. The good, the bad, the ugly. There's not really any ugly, I don't think, but some good things and some kind of things to watch out for. Um, who should use them, why you should use them, how they work, and then just some, tips and tricks and things that Riley's figured out as we've been doing stuff for clients and for us. I guess we do a little bit on LinkedIn too. Not a ton, but promoting some things. So you have made up, well, you haven't made up, you've renamed a Ling-Ling-Collins as a Riley Collins. So
Yes.
we had the Tom Collins a little while ago, and Riley's last name is Collins. So we were like, there needs to be a drink called a Riley Collins.
And that was your
Um,
idea, so
it
all
was
credit
because I'm
to
just
you for that one.
stupid and punny. But, and part of it was like, okay, we'll just swap the juice for something else. And you're like, no, I'm going to go one better. So you're going to go through this cocktail for us. And then when we get Riley on after the break, we'll see if he would drink this or not.
Yeah, and so LING-LING-COLLINS is kind of interesting. This is kind of based around, I don't know if you remember doing like the cocktail tasting we did, where we did all the
Uh huh.
cocktails like in person.
Yeah,
One
where
of them
Tyrell was our
was,
bartender.
yeah. I wish I could have gone to that. That sounds so much fun. But we tried the last word, and that was one
Hmm.
that like Riley liked and nobody else liked. So,
Oh, I liked it.
oh, you liked it too? Okay,
I like
cool.
Chartreuse. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I couldn't remember who all liked it. I just know that you and Riley are probably the minority there. But
Yeah, Caitlin
anyway,
hates Chartreuse. She just
I
like,
love it. It's my
uh,
favorite.
same. I think it's really fun.
Yeah. So this cocktail has a little bit of chartreuse in it, yellow chartreuse to be exact. Um, so the ingredients will need three Luxardo cherries. I've been listening. One and a
Thank you
half
for not doing
ounces of
maraschino
gin.
cherries. Sorry. 1.5 ounces of gin. Go ahead. I'll stop
Yep.
interrupting you.
Half ounce of fresh lemon juice.
Okay.
Like a third of an ounce of elderflower syrup, zero point 0.7 ounces of fresh grapefruit juice, zero point 0.7 ounces of cranberry juice, and then a quarter of an ounce of yellow chartreuse with soda water to top. So to make this, you muddle the cherries in a shaker, combine your remaining ingredients except the soda water, shake, fine strain into an ice-filled glass, and then top with soda and garnish. This sounds like a
Yep.
drink I would love. I love grapefruit. I love cranberry. I love chartreuse. Elderflower is great.
I
I
have
think I like everything.
I have all of this. I actually have lemons, limes, and oranges. We had a little pool party last weekend, and I bought some. Nobody used them in their cocktails. Like I was like, okay, whatever, because a lot of people were like drinking gin, and I was like, okay, I need lemons and limes for sure for gin. And we have the Tanqueray. I forget the name of it, but it's the orange flavored gin. So I got the oranges as well, but nobody used them. But I have all of this, I think, except my grapefruit juice. I have the Betty Buzz sparkling grapefruit, so I would have to not put that in the soda in the shaker and like add it at the end. Um, but yeah, just remember no fizzy in the shaky. That does it'll
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, if you
I
have all the
like.
stuff, maybe you should make it at our team party next week and then have Riley try it so we can get a video of him actually saying if
Oh
he
yeah.
likes it.
And
That
I'll
could be
bet if I
fun.
asked, somebody would just bring grapefruit juice, like real grapefruit juice. But the Betty Buzz stuff would work. Um, yeah, we could do that. And I love the muddling of the cherries. That's going to be like an interesting like taste.
Yeah. I'm all for this drink. Like this is like one of the drinks where like I think it's a good combo of like stuff that you would probably like and stuff that I would like. And hopefully Riley likes it too since it's his episode.
All right. Well, we'll talk to him about what he thinks of it, and then yeah, I think next week we can we can do a tasting and maybe throw that on the socials with Riley's reaction to what we are now dubbing the Riley-Collins instead of the Ling-Ling-Collins.
There we go.
All right, we'll get into LinkedIn ads after a little dance break. All right, we're back. So we have Riley with us. Hey, Riley.
Hello, hello.
All right, so you heard the recipe for what we're dubbing the Riley-Collins. Would you drink it?
Short answer, yes, I would drink it. I usually open to trying a lot of different stuff, although
Okay.
I have to admit that I don't really know what it would taste like given all of the different flavor profiles, but I'll still give it a go.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. A little bit
Mm.
of sweet, a little bit of sour, a little bit of tart, a little anisey with the yellow chartreuse. Well, maybe we'll try it next week. So we'll
Sounds
figure
like
that
one of
out.
those drinks where there's a bunch of stuff in it and like you don't know how it tastes, but it all works like really well together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's either going to be bad or it's going to be like really good. So,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really good. That's gonna be my guess. All right, off the cocktail now and on to LinkedIn. So give us a little bit about your background, Riley, so that people know, because it's been a while since you've been on the podcast, I think. So what do you do?
yeah. It's been quite a bit.
Been a
So I'm
minute.
a digital specialist here at Antidote 71, which means that I am just managing all sorts of digital things, whether it is paid social, pay per click, um, SEO, organic, paid, whatever, all that kind of fun stuff. So
Yep. And LinkedIn ads, which is what we're going to talk about today.
yes,
Um, so what's different about them? Like everybody knows like how Facebook ads work, and I think people know how Google ads work. LinkedIn might be a little bit different for people. So what is different about those compared to Meta and Google?
yeah. So all of the ad platforms are very similar with how they kind of like function, where it's like, you build your ad out, you have your campaign, all that kind of stuff. LinkedIn's a competitive advantage to different platforms. It's very heavy on the B2B,
Hmm.
and it gets very in the weeds with the targeting for the B2B. So if that is kind of what you're looking for with your advertising, LinkedIn is a great platform for that. And
Yep.
you can really you can target down all the way to professionals and what their job titles are and seniorities and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the main competitive advantage around going for LinkedIn over like Meta or, all the other platforms.
Yeah, because LinkedIn knows all that. They're not guessing what your job title might be, like a Google might be or somebody. Because Google has like, industry audiences that you can pull in if you want to, and so does Facebook. But LinkedIn knows like what your job title is and what company you work for. So I think that's a big one too. You can target a company or companies in your industry and then job titles within those. So like all marketing people in construction in this 5-state area.
Hmm.
Really, really cool. So I think you kind of answered who it's built for. It's built for like people who want to target B2B, right?
Yes,
Um,
100%.
can you do B2C on LinkedIn?
You can, but it's not really built for that. I think that's where the comparison kind of strikes for platforms like Meta versus LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you're usually going for B2B, whereas like Meta,
Hmm.
you can do both. You can go after B2B. It's not necessarily meant for it. I feel like you would find more success with B2C on like Meta,
Yep.
and maybe even
Yeah.
like Google and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you'd have to have a product that was an industry niche, and then you're really kind of going to B2B. I think about like the places that make like cute scrubs for like medical people. Like, but
Hmm.
even then, you're technically going B2B, even if you're going one to one to a doctor or a nurse, because you're going after them for their profession. It's not so much a B2C. You're not just targeting like us to use them as pajamas or something. Like that's not going to work well.
100%.
All right, cool. So the ad formats are pretty similar to how other programs work. So just give us a rundown of like what ad formats can we do on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of different ad formats that you can do in LinkedIn. I was kind of surprised because usually when you're managing, you don't touch all of them at one time.
Hmm.
So LinkedIn, they have like 15 different ad formats, which is nutty.
Jeez.
Um, but they kind of separate them into four different groups and they kind of correlate with like the funnel stages. So, for
Okay.
example, the starting funnel is sponsored content. You usually use this for like top of funnel advertising and utilizing different ad types like single image, carousel, video or CTV, those kind of platforms. I think that is like the biggest group of ads that they have on
Yeah.
their site. So
And the most
they're
similar to
very,
like what you would do on Facebook, right? Like it's,
yeah.
pretty
So that's just
close.
like your single image, like posting and doing your carousel, which is very similar to, or, very similar to what you would do on Facebook. So,
Hmm.
um, kind of getting into the next step, you have sponsored messaging. That's a little bit more of the middle of funnel. This is just, you know, you run ads that will message different people. It's like, I think the ad types are called conversation and message ads. They're very similar. The conversation kind of just gives prompts for people to select if they want to go after it, and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, I don't even look at my LinkedIn inbox anymore. Like it's such a
yeah.
mess.
That's kind of the problem when they kind of introduce those is that maybe they were probably more effective in the beginning, but now people are kind of like, okay, that's an ad, ignore. So,
Yeah, I mean, and they get lost with those paid in mails too. Like that's
mhm,
like a whole different thing.
yeah,
All
definitely.
right. So what about bottom of funnel?
We've got lead gen forms. They're not technically like they're not fully an ad, but they kind of embody an ad a little bit. It's really just an ad or a form in like an ad kind of space.
Hmm.
That's really just you go and fill that out and all that kind of stuff. Just your
Yep. Yeah.
generic form in an ad, I guess.
Yep.
So
And Meta has those. Google, I noticed, now has a lead gen. What is a lead gen extension? You
yeah.
can put on your ads, or you've got a short lead gen form. And you can
Hmm.
customize some of what you ask in those with LinkedIn as well, which is nice. The thing I like about those is like if you're using HubSpot, which we talk about a lot, and other CRMs, they'll link directly to it. So those will just dump right in with a source of LinkedIn or wherever, and then you can do things with them, which is kind of neat.
I think they're really
Uh,
effective just for like convenience, instead of taking somebody to an external landing page, you can just have that lead form pop right up, especially if it's something like super quick, like if you want to get like a white paper or something like that.
mhm.
You can just get that really fast. You don't have to go to an external site and get sold to again about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's really like the bottom of the funnel, right? Like
Mhm.
what gets me is like, this is bad on Meta, of course, for the most part, but when you're looking at like a product and like you click in there to like look at the product one, it still opens in like the fake browser inside Facebook, which is like whatever, great.
Mhm.
But like before I can even see what the product is, I get the slide up that's like, give us your email address and we'll send you 10%. And I'm like, I don't want that yet. I need to look at this thing and then maybe I'll take 10% off and then I'll unsubscribe from your emails. So I think that lead forms can be intrusive if you use them wrong. Like I'm at best middle of funnel if I'm looking at like a product on, Facebook or whatever, like, and it just drives me crazy. I think I would almost rather have the, like, if I jump into the product, okay, now I'm interested in what I saw. I go into the product to actually read more about it. Then give me the pop up to be like, if you buy this, give me more than 10% though. 10% is a stupid number,
Yeah, true. At least 15 or something. But yeah.
right? All right. So if I'm doing LinkedIn for the first time and I'm listening, where should I start?
So it really depends on your budget. Some people have different budgets than others, which is totally understandable. But where I would kind of start, I would give yourself a decent budget. We'll get into it in the next talking point, but
Okay.
give yourself a decent budget. And if you can, I would lean towards creating a very, it's kind of like an explainer video of like a problem or maybe an issue that like your target
Okay.
audience might have. This video is not going to explain who you are or like what you sell, so don't even get into that
Hmm.
talking point because people are going
We're
to
not there
tune out.
yet.
We're not there yet. This is very top of funnel. So just explain a problem or explain a challenge that somebody might have. It can be really quick. You can either go, 30 seconds to 3 minutes if you really want to. Um, as long as it's going to take you to get the message across or the problem across. And then from there, we can create a campaign pushing that video out to your target audience. And then on top of that, create a secondary retargeting campaign. You can do whatever kind of medium that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Retargeting people off of the most, I think it's like 50% retention from that video. And the reason why we do that is because you're going to retarget the people who have watched your video halfway and have seen your message. And if they're going to watch at least to the halfway point, something is sticking with them to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means, or that way we can put a bunch of our budget towards people who are actually engaged with what we're trying to push out, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And with this retargeting campaign, that's where you start to explain who you are and kind of what you do and how you can solve that issue. So
Got it.
just a
So you're
really
really
two-step kind of, problem solver, I guess. I don't know.
So you're really looking at like a top middle 1-2 punch, right? Like the top
Yes.
of funnel so we can go bring those people in. We're still going to target pretty tightly because it's
Mhm.
LinkedIn, so we can get those in front of the right people. But that doesn't mean they're all going to be interested. And then you take the ones who are interested in the issue you've brought up or the whatever you're talking
Mhm.
about, kind of generally, not about you yet, and you're going to tell them like, "Hey, this is something we can help you with." Kind of lightly, like you're not going to ask them for the sale. You're not going to be like,
Buy this product
schedule an
now.
appointment buy now, like that's not where
Yeah.
we're at yet, that's next.
Mhm.
But yeah, okay. All right, so you mentioned budget. So LinkedIn gets a bad rap for being way more expensive than everything else. um Talk to me about budget. Is it really as expensive as people say? How does it compare to other platforms?
So it kind of, I don't know, it kind of depends. People kind of give LinkedIn a bad rap for being more expensive. And I think this is mostly due to like poor targeting a little bit, because if you
Mm,
don't really encapsulate your targeting and you don't narrow it down a lot, you're going to be wasting a lot of budget. There's a lot of potential in LinkedIn. You just have to make sure you're harnessing it correctly. So advertising on LinkedIn is more expensive than other platforms on like a number basis, like as a whole. But it's like I think the CPC kind of measures around like $3 to like $6, and it can go even higher. Whereas
okay.
like other platforms like Facebook are like $1.50 to $3. So it's a little bit more expensive per click, but it's not like terribly expensive. We're not talking about like 3 or 4x. So
Yeah, and for
uh,
people who don't know, CPC, cost per click, to get
yes.
people to go to your content. um Yeah, and I think that the other thing is, if you're doing a B2B campaign, typically your value of landing that client is higher anyway. So, you can afford a little bit higher cost per click. You can afford a little bit higher cost per acquisition. Like, I mean, if you're running something, we've had people who like their average contract is like millions of dollars. And so it's
Mhm.
like, you might hit a $30 CPC. You might hit a 200, 300, $500 cost per acquisition. But if you have to pay $500 to get somebody into $1 million contract, I think you're doing fine.
Mhm.
For small businesses, though, I can see where it would get a little crazy. Is it still a minimum is $20 a day, I believe, on LinkedIn?
I think the minimum, they might have decreased it. It's $10, but it kind
Oh,
of
okay.
depends. So if you do $10 a day, that is your minimum, but you can also charge it by like lifespan, and that lifespan changes depending on how long
Oh,
the
so
listing
your
is.
campaign, like I have a 30-day or a 60-day campaign, I want to spend $800 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I remember when it was $20 a day, and people were like, "I can advertise on Meta for $5 a day," and it's like, yes, you
Mhm.
can, but the targeting is so different. Like,
I think they've
um,
definitely like tried to cinch that up and appeal to like different audiences with that, because it is now $10 a day, and sometimes it gets a little bit weird where you have to give it an extra dollar or whatever depending on what you're targeting. But it's definitely worth. I think if especially if you're in that B2B targeting kind of range, it's definitely worth that payoff, because um, just the quality of leads is a lot higher because you know who you're actually targeting.
mhm.
Getting to that first talking point at the very beginning, like the targeting is very narrowed down. They know exactly who they're targeting to and all that kind of stuff. So um, you get a lot better of an audience.
Yeah, and I think those smaller budgets, you're gonna have like it's gonna take longer to optimize. It's gonna take longer to figure it out because like if you're spending $10 a day and you're running a $5 cost per click, it's 2 clicks a day. That's all you're getting, and then your ads are
Mhm.
done. And so if you can afford to get into that 20, 30, even $50 a day, um, you're going to get more results faster, and it's going to learn faster, and then it's going to get more efficient. Because I know a lot of people want to start with a tiny budget and then grow it, and it's like actually the opposite. Like start with a healthier budget, and then as we get it optimized, we should be able to narrow that and bring it down.
Hmm.
But otherwise, you just gotta wait, be patient.
Yeah, you do.
All right, so I think that brings us to let's start with, we got two things. I want to know tips, like pro tips, and then I want to know how do people screw this up? What are the biggest mistakes people make on LinkedIn that you know? So give me a tip first.
Okay. So a tip is that I would definitely make sure that you have a high focus on your audience. I
Okay.
see a lot of people, it kind of leads into the mistake as well. Um, People tend to have too wide of an audience with this. And especially if you're going to have a smaller budget to start, you don't have like, thousands of dollars to blow right now on LinkedIn
Hmm.
advertising. You want to make sure that that targeting is really acting like a sniper rifle and not like a shotgun blast, just like
Yep.
sending it all around town.
It's a
Um,
very Midwest analogy. Like,
it is, yes. I heard it somewhere and it just kind of like stuck with me and I was like,
yeah,
yeah, that
in
makes a lot
the
of sense.
I had some employees from the South, and they always said buckshot instead of shotgun,
Oh,
and I'm like, it's same thing. Like it's,
same thing, yeah.
shotguns just go everywhere, where a rifle is like going right at what you want. Yeah, I think that's
Hmm.
a good example. And you don't have to with some platforms, you have to kind of go broad, and then you can bring it in. But with LinkedIn, you can actually laser right in.
Yep.
Um, I think targeting on that, Zach. I think
Thanks for the
targeting on
analogy.
that or bouncing off that is also you can do negative targets, right? So LinkedIn is going to tell you the percent of industries or job titles or whatever it is that people are seeing your ads. And if you're targeting something specific and you see this weird anomaly in there that's like, like you're targeting architects and you're getting college professors, you can go do a negative industry of education, or a negative industry of, or negative job title of college professor. And you can really, like, I think the best one that we did that I saw when I was looking at results was we got it to like a 90% in their industry, which is it that takes work. Like that's a lot of
Yeah.
work, because you're going to have weird stuff come in, because it's the
Hmm.
internet, weird stuff happens. Um all right. How about is there a feature that people don't really know about, like that they should really be using or looking at or exploring in LinkedIn?
I think if you're one feature that I kind of came across with working with Zach with some of our LinkedIn, not like branding, but just kind of growing our LinkedIn is
Mhm.
that
Content and stuff.
LinkedIn offers a different kind of ad that I've never seen before. They call it a thought leadership ad. So
Hmm.
you're able to boost a employee's post through the company page. And now more than ever, LinkedIn is now becoming
Oh.
this platform where it's more employee focused and more individual focused. So you can really highlight your employees, your talent, all that kind of stuff, what they're doing. And you can just put that on the employee page. And that would help grow both personal and employee or personal and business pages and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of
Yeah.
helps grow your brand through this like very interpersonal way. So if you have a budget for that, I definitely would try doing that because it's a very interesting way of thinking about like LinkedIn growth and all that kind of stuff.
And we did do that for our
Hmm.
webinar too. So it was really interesting to
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
see.
So I could like write something, just to be crystal clear on this. Like I write something on my personal profile, like a little article or whatever, about leading a small agency in 2025 or whatever the topic is. I don't know. Zach would give me a topic and I would write it and it would be there. So then, because I'm linked to the company page by my business or whatever, the company can then grab that and promote it through a paid ad in the company page, basically
Hmm.
giving the company audience and whoever you're targeting like visibility to my profile.
Yep. And it works just like any other kind of ad targeting. You can use audiences and all that kind of stuff inside the actual targeting because you set it up
Nice.
just like an ad. And the only thing that kind of changes from the actual post and the ad is that up in the very top below their name, it's just going to say in the tiniest little text ever, sponsored by your company. So,
Anno 71 or whatever.
yep.
All right. Zach, you should be promoting all of my amazing original content that I put on LinkedIn. I don't put a lot. I just really reshare our stuff, and I don't even have the time to write something on it. I'm terrible at it. But it is something that's interesting. And I love the idea of, like, not just my stuff, obviously, but like, you know, every employee in that thing. And now I'm getting why there's this desire to be like, hey, we need to do more individual thought leadership, because we can piggyback off that. Because most people, like, everybody knows, like, when the company posts something, have your employees reshare it. Like, that's 100%. It's great. It's wonderful. But I love this idea of the individual post getting in front of new audiences. All right, we're going to talk more about that. Not right now, offline. Zach we'll set up some time and chat about it, and figure that out. All right, any parting words, final thoughts? You don't have to. I know I put you on the spot.
No, it's all right. I think the biggest thing, like the biggest takeaway from this is make sure that you have your targeting on point, because that is the biggest thing with LinkedIn advertising.
Biggest
And
advantage.
especially more than ever with, like, you know, budgets may being spent faster because it's more expensive. You're going to want to have that tightened down more than anything. So,
Yep. So I will tell you a little bit of a tangent here, but still related. Back in the Wild Wild West days of doing digital ads, like when they were just starting to allow ads on like Google and Facebook, you could target by company and you could target by job title, which you can still do today. And so somebody, I don't remember who it was, wanted a job at a specific agency. So they ran an ad with their content targeting just the CEO of that agency. So they put in title CEO and, you know, company, this company. And they didn't have minimums back then. Like now you can't do that. You've got to have enough people in your audience to keep it general. So this ad was literally just being shown to this one dude. And he got the job. Like it was like, it's like, that is kind of genius. And that's probably also part of where things spun out and they were like, yeah, maybe this is a little too creepy and we need to maybe
One
make this
person.
broader.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was really early days, like in the 2000s, you were able to like just hit one person. It's so wild. All right,
really creative though.
That is a
I'm glad he
sniper
got his
shot.
job.
Yeah, it's like buying the billboard outside the company you want to work for. Like, and I mean, well, we could do that with digital out of home now. You could just put a billboard right outside where you want to work. I'm still tempted to buy the billboard that you guys see outside as you drive into the office in Sioux City, and just put up like stupid messages or weird photos of you guys. But I don't have that kind of cash to burn.
Maybe one day.
Maybe. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Riley. I do also want to point out your hair is very on point today. As
you.
somebody who has very like fine hair, like I still have hair, which is great. It's not going anywhere. And it's a little bit lighter because I've spent time in the pool and out in the yard. So I'm very blonde these days. I do appreciate your hair, and it's really working it today. So congratulations.
I appreciate the compliments and having me on today.
100%. All right. Zach, should we bring it home?
Let's bring it home. As always, you can find our agency at antidote71.com, where you'll also find all of our links to all of our social media channels. And if you have a question you'd like to send our way, head to ctapodcast.live to shoot us an email, or even better, leave us a voice message on our hotline at 402-718-9971. Your question might make it into a future episode of the podcast. And I say might, but we all know that it definitely will.
It will. If we get a voicemail in there, Zach will be so excited. I know we'll hear about it like immediately. But yeah, and that does just go to voicemail. You don't risk talking to a human being. You can also send us an audio file. You can record in your memo app. You can send that through the website, ctapodcast.live as well. We would love to hear from you. And you'll get a book. It reminds me, I didn't send a book to Alex yet. I got to do that.
Okay.
Our guest
I'll definitely get his mailing address.
It's just the college. I'm just going to send it to the college.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Like, it'll be fine. It's 1501 Morningside Avenue. I kind of know that one. All right. So we will be back next week, I believe, with our summer intern, Megan Callahan. We didn't do an intern view at the beginning of the internship. We're kind of midway through it. But we'll talk with Megan about what's going on with 71 Shirts. There's some new designs there, and definitely go check that out if you haven't seen the website. You can buy a t-shirt and support an intern. Really fun stuff. All right. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.